Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sloppy Lab. This is Bottom of the Beaker, the weekly show about the design, the ducks, and the strategy of Keyforge. Everyone, and I do mean everyone's favorite unique deck game. I am JT Russell, Uplight Briggs, and with me tonight is a man who says you could just go by Mr. McGraw, or you know what, maybe El Kabong if you're not into the whole brevity thing. I am, of course, talking about Quick Draw 3457. How are we doing this evening, Quick Draw?
I'm good this evening, and I do not get that reference at all.
I thought there was very, very little chance you would get it, but
So Hanna-Barbera cartoons, you see, Quick
oh
Draw.
my goodness! Oh my goodness! Wow, I did not expect that either. And folks, not to bury the lead here, we are not in alone in the lab. We have Barry Skywalker. Barry, what was your numbers again? Barry 374.
Yep.
Barry Skywalker 374. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Who comes to the rescue? How the heck did you know that? I am super impressed.
Am only here to reference classic animation. There will be no talk of any TCGs out of my mouth this evening.
Wow.
Well, it's a good thing Keyforge isn't a TCG. Wow.
Wow.
There will also be incorrect acronyms coming out of my mouth this evening, along with classic cartoons.
I am just floored that you got that. This is what a late 50s, early 60s series.
I watched a lot of Boomerang back when they actually showed cartoons and not just Cartoon Network reruns.
Okay, awesome. And folks in the chat with you too. Yes, Quick Draw McGraw. Wow, I thought that was gonna fly right under the radar. We should just go home. Episode's over, everybody.
I'm going to go home. You guys seem like you got this covered tonight.
Well, holy moly, I don't even know where to go. I'm so flustered now.
JT never rattled. This is amazing.
No, I almost feel like I let you guys down, but very, very excited to have you on, Barry. Barry, who, was victorious at this past NEKO 2. You're the NEKO 2 champion. You've dethroned my co-host. Mm-hmm. Oh, showing off, folks on the stream getting to see the hardware, and I have to say that is some very, very fine looking hardware. Whoever put that together deserves, I don't know, a number of pats on the back. How would you? So I unfortunately did not make it to NEKO. I was very disappointed not be able to go. Can you describe the trophy to the folks listening, Barry?
This piece is a lovely, I think it's pine wood base with, it's some pretty hefty metal up top with kind of, it's almost, I kind of want to say it's like a beehive-y texture going through it. It's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
I think the base is oak, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. I'm only here to talk about cartoons, not carpentry.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the beehive pattern, is that like, are those like supposed to be amber shards? Is this like a
possibly
shattered glass amber shardy type of thing? But what I mean, it looks really nice. It looks like it has a nice weight to it. It's not one
it's
of
also
those like
It's also got like nice glitter gold paint on it, so it kind of shimmers under the right light.
I dig it.
I can confirm all of this stuff. It's a great trophy. If the screen were bigger, folks could see it behind me right now as well.
Oh, yesterday's news, Quick Draw. Come on.
I know. It's true, though. It's true. That's why we have Barry here.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna have to have like an expanded guest suite for NEKO 3 because Quick Draw's coming in third, and we'll need second and first on as well. But yeah, this is really cool. So Quick Draw, you won NEKO last year, the at least the sealed main event, right? And came back this year for second place. And I have the pleasure of getting to talk to the first and second place medal finishers for NEKO. And yeah, we're going to be talking about a little bit of a recap and some things on sealed, and this is going to be an awful lot of fun. So yeah, that's the agenda for tonight, I suppose.
Yeah, Barry, thanks for getting back to us. I'm sure your phone's been ringing off the hook with requests to come on all the podcasts this week. So I appreciate you finding that time to get back to us and joining us tonight.
Hmm. You guys, we might have taken bets in the Connecticut Keyforge car ride back, to which the number one bet was, I bet Quick Draw asked Barry first tonight.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad that I have that reputation, and it was me.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Nice.
fantastic. We're really happy you could join us. We'd love to recap NECO. We had Andrew on to talk NECO last year, but you're the reigning champ, so who better to have than you?
Not a
And
king, just a prince, here to talk about the not TCG and maybe cartoons.
There you go. Uh, we could talk about a Keyforge cartoon. Someone was mentioning that earlier. That would be a great way to, like Pokemon is huge largely because of the cartoon. Just make a Keyforge cartoon, and the game suddenly is going to explode in popularity.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, go the Yu-Gi-Oh route and pull all those folks in. I definitely was a. I mean, I tried Yu-Gi-Oh. I know we've got some Yu-Gi-Oh fans in the Keyforge crowd, but like, I loved the show. Like, holy moly! So it could work. It could work.
Hmm. I think it would have to be an anthology, though. I don't know that Keyforge works super well in a like a long running kind of narrative like that.
What are you talking about? Just procedurally generate the scripts, and you have infinite content forever. They don't have to be related to one another. You just,
I'm actually thinking maybe it goes super modern art and it's just still pictures of Archon card backs that the audience
Ah,
has to derive meaning from.
nice. I could see that. I could see that. I could also
I
see it
think
Pretty
being
there's
sort
I
of
think
like
there's potential for sure.
mhm, really avant garde stuff, I think. Richard Garfield would like it.
Yeah, and you know, if Dr. Garfield likes it, then it's good.
Hmm.
All right. Well, we're not going to just talk about cartoons tonight. Actually, Barry, I want to hear about everything about your experience at NECO and how it went for you. And obviously, you were the champion. So just take the floor. Wherever you want to lead this conversation about NECO, I'd love to hear it.
So the first thing that happened on the way to Neko 2 was my train got delayed by 2 hours.
Mm.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to get stranded in the middle of Manhattan waiting for the last train to Pennsylvania. So I abandoned the train, and then the Connecticut Keyforge car went down at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, which is, of course, how all great tournaments start.
With a travel story. So you were
Yes.
going to take the train by yourself and
Uh
then
huh.
just come the whole way down on the train,
Yeah.
and then you had to rely on Dead Sink and Kirby and
Mm
who else came down? Was it Jesse or
hmm. Espo was the
Espo?
fourth person
Okay,
in that car.
okay. It's a good thing that there was a car coming down.
Yeah. Very good thing. Uh, so from there, got to the went and got breakfast, went to the game store, played my first game of the weekend was a Sweet 16 reversal game against Unfathomable. I gave him my go to terrible reversal deck,
So
and
so so real quick for folks who aren't really aware, what's Sweet 16 or what's the deal with this? Yeah.
Sweet 16 is the trademark pending Neko side event from Fabulosing, in which you get a 4x4 bingo card filled with a variety of standard to the weird Keyforge formats that both publishers of the game as well as community members have done. Uh, and you earn prize tickets based on how many games you play, how many bingos you compete. This year, I was really a fan of the formats she had laid out. I thought it was a great mix of playing regular Keyforge and getting some of the weird stuff in there too.
Yeah, there was a community event in there, Keymander, Certain Darkness, plus regular Archon, Sealed, Adaptive, Triad, and that kind of stuff. So it was awesome last year too, and then this year as well. The Sweet 16 was great because you can go into the weekend and like bring a few decks to fit the formats that you're going to see in there, and then just find random games against people in your spare time, and it's always like a very action filled weekend with lots of games, and it does a good job of giving you a variety, so you're not just always playing Archon or Sealed.
I particularly liked this year. She put a couple formats that were good mirrors from the main tournament for you to keep
Hmm.
using those decks. There was a Crucible Clash with Powers box that I thought was really fun kind of
Ooh.
get the what if we had played with the full contents of the pack.
Yep.
Did you have any Archon powers in your 3 decks that were like, oh man, I really wish I could have played that?
I didn't get the one that's purge a card from your hand to steal.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, the one I did end up playing in that side event was the every time you call Saurian, exalt each non-dinosaur card in play.
It's crazy.
Um, it is crazy, except for the point when it has a bunch of Saurian pips on things that aren't dinosaurs. So even when I'm calling Saurian, I'm exalting like 3 of my own creatures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
that
it's a bit of a double-edged sword for sure, but it can surely make lots of amber very quickly,
yeah.
I would think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember the Archon powers that my decks had. I wasn't really interested. Honestly, I don't love them as a format. I was very pleased that this format was chosen for NEKO 2. I think it's an amazing sealed format. And honestly, I think this has vaulted Crucible Clash sealed without Archon powers to, in my opinion, one of the top 3 sealed formats in this game.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoy the makeup of Crucible Clash, particularly with regards to a lot of the collectathon cards it likes to give you. Or team cards, I guess would be a better thing. The Horsemen, the Power Rangers, the Sins. I think they add a real nice cohesion to some of these decks that make them feel fun to play in a way that some sealed decks kind of don't end up having, even if they
Yeah.
don't end up being all that great.
That's a very good observation. Yeah, there was a lot of Sins decks that I saw there. 2 Sins decks I played against, and lucky for me, both of those times the Sins were all in the bottom of both decks. So that's probably the reason why I made it as far as I did.
So
I
Barry,
think,
you've been somewhat of a Crucible Clash Sans power specialist of late. In ABR, you just played a Horseman deck for the sealed seat in the playoff here, which is pretty cool too. So
yeah.
not to like pivot hard or anything, but like I know the man comes off of a big win. We're like, all right, right back in the fire, and yeah, I got to play with Horsemen, so I didn't even think about that, but there are quite a few of those like linked card special rarity packages in the set, which is pretty neat.
On the other hand, I then played the NEKO winning deck last night in a Kagi second Amber match and lost 0-2 with it. So
it's probably a different mindset when you're playing a sealed CC game with a deck versus playing cross set with a deck, right?
Yeah, it was against a Prophetic Visions deck that was just printing Amber and card advantage, and so it became a very different game beyond the sealed game. Tended to be a lot of board based interaction. I think my opponent barely had a board out the entire game.
Yeah, there was a time in our game where I was like, I should probably just discard these creatures, and I didn't. I don't think it ended up hurting me really. I mean, he did have the glorious tradition to exalt each flank creature, so if I had multiple out, yes. But like when I just played a single creature, making you fight it was even value compared to reaping. At least I deal some damage in the process.
Yeah, I'm looking at your deck here. She Who Mathematically Burglarizes Time. What a name, by the way. Very cool.
What a name. That is probably the best name of any deck in the tournament, and it just so happens to also be the champion deck. So, like, well done. What a name.
Thank you. I opened it myself.
Yeah.
You should be proud of that. No. And yeah, but 21 creatures, so see the board based in action, and only 11 pips. So yeah, I mean that at least rings true looking at the list here in the stats. And I have to say too, I'm very used to at this point looking at the championship deck coming out of a sealed weekend and being like, oh, okay, like yeah, they sat behind 120 SAS monster. Like I get it. Like you kind of expect.
I feel like. Sorry to interrupt you, but you're taking shots at me now because that's basically what happened last year when I won.
Present company included, but like, but you're like, but I mean, you kind of expect that a little bit. Not to say that it still doesn't take skill to navigate the field and play that well, and that doesn't come into fact. But I see this in like an 80 Saz deck took down like a large sealed event. Like that's pretty like unusual for this day and age. I don't know. Even CC is not like CC is not putting up like high Saz powerful decks. Like there are still very very high Saz monsters out there. So I don't know. That kind of struck to me, and I'm like, yeah, you must have had to like really milk these creatures for all they're worth and navigate the low creature control that this deck put out for you. Yeah.
I think a really big factor in it comes down to the house pip distribution. The deck has 6 additional house pips in it, and I think they really go on some pretty key cards. Colonel Mariana having a pip in it, being able to use it as some amber control in 2 houses, which really don't have a ton of it throughout the deck, really give it some nice thing. Imperium with a Skyborn pip, especially because Skyborn has the Razor's Gambit. I really want to be readying stuff and fighting with it.
Sure. Yeah.
And
getting warded Ripperjack seems pretty cool. And I noticed too, not to steal your thunder, but you have a very cool Heart of Steel, which can play a creature card from your discard pile, a Skyborn creature from your discard pile, and you were just mentioning that Skyborn Mariana being a very very neat target for Heart of Steel there, which is cool. Yeah,
Skyborn Mariana, and then a lot of the times it ended up grabbing a Ripperjack out of the discard for a little bit of extra steel too.
For sure.
Which was always, especially on a Saurian turn where it wasn't expected, was usually a pretty nice thing to do.
Yeah. You talked about this being a board deck. That's what dictated the 2 games, the finals that we played. Other thing that stood out to me was the 2 Imperiums and the Ancient Power. I feel like wards in this format are insane because there is a lack of board wipes. There's a lack of creature control in general. And when you can make a big board and ward some creatures, it just feels really devastating to play against.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, the one loss I had in the main tournament was against Sutterkin, who I did end up playing again in the finals. And the loss primarily came down to the fact that his deck was doing everything my deck was doing, but like 3% better. I had 4 taunt creatures, he had 5. I had 3 things buffing my creatures, he had 4. And so it really came down to this like almost boxing match of who could fight off the opponent's board first and just take control and go.
Yeah, but I love those games. I will say I'm going to eat a little bit of crow because I have talked about sealed not having enough creature control and board wipes. But playing in this tournament, I think to me highlighted the importance of understanding how to manage a board. I think people were trained in Keyforge to always reap, and I think in this Crucible Clash sealed, you need to really have a good understanding of when is the right time to fight. And it helps if you have a glorious tradition to exalt them and get some amber at the same time. But it still takes much more skill, in my opinion, to manage a board in a set like this. And your deck has 5.6 C. So it's not like low C is a death knell in this format.
No. And I think the lucky thing was the C really comes down to it has 2 Boomerangs. And most of the stuff I would feel like killing right away really were just small things giving incremental value. A Shaffle's taking away some amber, something giving you a little bit of extra card draw. Everything else was pretty much handled by the board and the skirmish from the stalwarts or the wards.
And you got 2 Praetorian Kentros as well. One that's Skyborn enhanced, giving your Saurian creatures +1 power, and you have the Saurian enhanced stalwart. So you had lots of power bonuses going around. Then you also had the Lion Botrum, giving some extra power. So it was like big creatures everywhere, wards, a little bit of armor. Deadson calls it a math battle. One of our games was absolutely a math battle. You probably saw me like kind of pause and think for a long while about what to do. And I was doing all this math in my head about how many cards to have in my hand and who to fight to get rid of wards with a Brick Nasty so I could play a Plummet and kill everything. And I had exactly enough if I took my archive, which was an untamed power up, just to have an extra damage that I could do to clear everything, because I really needed to clear the Lion Botrum. Otherwise, you were just going to refill the board and I'd never be able to kill it again. So, really interesting games.
so many times in every game, just sitting there for a minute before a house call, doing the math to figure out how many power is that guy? How many power is that guy?
Yeah.
Who is Lion upgrading?
Yeah, and like it was like a chain event with the plummet because I had to kill the lion Botrum, which got rid of 2 power from the neighbors, which killed the Praetorian Kentro, which took away another power from everything else, which meant that like the 5 damage from plummet was enough to kill everything, just because of that first domino of lion Botrum falling.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We're imagining the gif of the beautiful mind playing through for a quick draw at the start of this turn. Totally.
Isn't there the Zach Galifianakis one that's probably more appropriate here?
Also that. But yeah, I'm looking at your creature control here, and it's like you're not lying. You've got the double Bomberang, and then actually everything else is like use a creature in some way and like figure it out, dude.
And a single damage pip across the entire deck.
Yes, single damage pip on a creature. Yep. So your creature control from hand is that damage pip, and then the double Bomberang, and then you could maybe count Razor's Gambit if it's ready and on board to fight with a dude. But wow. Yeah.
It's just so crazy to look at this and say this is the sealed deck that won a 47 player tournament. Like that's just so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think we're also kind of. I'm gonna let you talk about the deck too. But this deck has some other things going on for it. I mean, I don't know what else. What else does this deck have going on for it, Barry? He's got deer and headlights. Look,
it wasn't even really a thing. It wasn't even really a choice when making the deck or when picking to play the deck. I initially wasn't going to play this deck in favor of another one because the first thing I looked at was I saw the Crassosaurus with an epic poem, and I thought, I gotta be smart. I can't play the dumb combo just because it looks kind of cool. I should probably pick a deck that just looks a little bit more reasonable. And then I went back to it and I was like, well, if not now, then when? We're gonna do the dumb thing. God have mercy on our souls. And I picked it, and it wasn't even until my first game that I realized I actually think I read what Endurance does in Skyborn, which is each of its Skyborn neighbors gain after Reap, ready, and fight with this creature, which I then realize if my opponent has no board, basically just says after Reap, rule of 6 Reap with whatever's next to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Wait, what? I didn't even realize this now. Each of Endurance's Skyborn neighbors gain after Reap, ready, and fight. So if you can manage to clear their board with your 5.6C, then you're going to Reap 12 times probably.
Which it is really doable, especially with the I'm looking at the thing and I can't find it. The Razor's Gambit on board, which lets me do it with things that I have just played, assuming there's an empty board.
Yep.
And even when it's not rule of 6ing, just that extra value of getting an amber and being able to clear something away just results in so much, even if it is just in essence, even if it is in essence just clearing some, even if it is a, sort of a kamikaze, get rid of my guy, get rid of yours, I'm still up an amber.
Right. Wow. I feel like Endurance has to have been like an oversight as far as
it's like a batteries included Gangernaut combo, It's like, okay.
Yeah. Like
Nice.
Imagine just like a turn 1 Endurance with another creature and a ready and fight effect when they have empty board.
Also, I have to admit, I read the notes that you put together, Barry, and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize there was a rule of 6 with Endurance until round 1, and I looked at Endurance, I'm like what? And then I was like looking through the list. I'm like, where's the combo? And I didn't realize until you're describing it right now, like how it actually works. Like, oh, it's just any other creature and an empty board. Wow, that's. Bananas.
I was playing Yosoi Queso in that first match, and my meme that happened was like the monkey seeing stimulus meme, where I just looked down at my board. He had an empty board, so I reaped, and I was like, and then I'll ready it. And then, like, the puzzle pieces starting fitting together.
I've played against Endurance a few times and never realized that before.
Yeah. Yep. I've
It,
Wow.
I've definitely played it and not kind of, yeah, realize that that was in the realm of possibilities, which I'm ashamed to admit. As a player who's done a fair share of Gangernaut combos, and Grey Rider combos, this just like didn't jump out at me. Wow.
certainly up there as one of the strongest ships in Keyforge now, I think.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. I can barely name another one. So
And the other
Mm.
nice thing is that since it's kind of, it's a 4-1 itself, it's kind of beefy. I can use it to fight down some stuff to get a little bit closer towards getting that rule of 6 going.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean the other Skyborn ship's pretty good. I'm liking on the name. It's like 5-3 or 5-2.
Oh, the Black
steel.
Tempest.
The Black Tempest. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the Black Tempest is probably better.
But I mean I don't know. I mean the ceiling on this is pretty high. Yeah, as an individual card. But wow, it seems perhaps underrated coming in at 2.87 here with
I was thinking
that
the same
potential.
thing. Yeah.
But maybe that's
Um,
just wild.
And
Cool.
for those wondering at home, I did not get off Crassosaurus Epic Poem during the tournament.
You almost did against me. I had to
I
go out of my way to make sure it didn't happen. And if I hadn't done that, you would have done it in the finals.
hmm
So
Did not
and
happen
you won anyway,
once.
so you didn't need it.
But I needed the moral victory of knowing that I picked right to do it.
Well, so you picked this one, I guess, sort of because of the Crass and Epic Poem. Did you not realize until after you played a couple games, not just the endurance, but like how important the board was?
I think I recognized it pretty early on. Another one of my decks was pretty similar, 21 creatures, very much built upon going to the board. It wasn't, I think it was really in maybe game 2 or 3 where I started seeing the importance of really picking my fights with it. In particular, with the Ripper Jacks choosing when they need to fight to bounce back to hand, and the Stalwarts having skirmish, and all the buffs that are just going around. I think those were the ones where I really started to realize that this is a fight deck and not just a play guys and reap deck.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I did go into it, the event, wanting a strong board deck, and then two of the decks I opened had just 13 creatures. Um, they both had Mars as well, and they had like lots of ready and use Martian stuff, but they only had a few Martian creatures. So I was like really bummed to not be able to get the board deck. The third deck that I had was my least favorite. It actually did have 21 creatures. It had a good Skyborn with 3 Indigo Halyards, which is a rule of 6, and then 2 Ripper Jacks. So it's got some good stuff going on there. But it just didn't have enough elsewhere that I liked. So I definitely tried to go for the board based, creature based things. But that's why I ended up switching my decks, was because the first two that I actually liked, on paper, they didn't like have that board that I wanted in this format.
Hmm.
My potential backup had similar board, but a lot more direct C, I believe. More Brobnar ready and fight kind of shenanigans, and a couple of blast from the pasts and things from the Saurian to do stuff.
And this
My
is
third deck,
Kitty Zhang Pike Adept.
yep. It had a tertiate too, which I like, just having some kind of board wipe.
Yeah. Interesting too how both this deck and She Who Mathematically Burglarizes Time have a Jehu the Bureaucrat and double Stalwart in there. So like very similar Sanctum, it looks like, but yeah, funny. Yeah, and then you've got your third deck which was the Jurassic Classic, which is another cool name.
Another great
Yeah.
name.
That one was never up to be played, but I just thought it was a really great name.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it's got Saurian as well with Jurassic Classic.
So
Yes.
Crucible Clash is the first set where I really do think that there are certain houses connected to names, because I feel like I've opened decks in past sets with the name Sanctum or with Dis in the name that do not have those pods.
Hmm.
But like in one of my sealed decks for ABR this week, it is something something the dis something, and it has dis in it, and this is Jurassic, and it has Sanctum, and it's the first time I'm really feeling, and it happened one other time with this set, and I can't remember what it was, but it's the first time I'm really feeling like there's a connection here in the
Well,
machine code.
the first AOA deck I ever opened was in the AOA release event that we had at my store, and it was called the Dis of Stokegate, and it did have Dis in it.
Mm.
So I assume there was maybe a connection, but I don't know. I haven't opened many other decks that have that kind of name before. I'd be a little impressed if the word Jurassic pulls in a Saurian deck.
Mm.
I could see some different segments of the name generation pool being available to different houses or house combinations. That'd be a nice touch. I doubt it's there, but if it is, we could make that head canon. I could go with it. Quickdraw, you have another interesting story to go with your decks, and which you haven't really touched on either, but I really enjoy. You played each of these decks, so we haven't mentioned, right, the NEKO sealed format was, yes, Crucible Clash without powers, but it was also pick one sealed as opposed to sealed alliance. And you played each of the three decks that you opened at least once and won at least a game with each of these decks, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. So I talked about how I wanted a board based deck. The deck that I really wanted, that I liked the most, was Eco Stare Colonnade Wise Woman. It only had 13 creatures, but it did have a Untamed Akugio, and it had some Martian shenanigans with not too many Martians, couple Mars Pips cards, I think, or just a Plummet maybe. It had two Rant and Rives, which is great in the format. I didn't get any redline
Mm-hmm.
rotations, so Rant and Rive maybe is the next best thing for Amber Control. So it's a solid deck, 78 SAS, 29 expected Amber. I played it game one, and I won, but it was a close game, and I didn't like how weak of a board it had.
Mm-hmm.
It did have an unnatural selection as its only board wipe. It didn't really click for me in game one. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try something else in game two. So I ended up switching to my second deck, which forgetting the name at the moment, R. Fournier, the Underworld Firebrand. Again, 13 creatures, but it has 19 pips, a lot of expected amber, like a double amber enhanced city gates that's also in Martian. So like it has some cool stuff going for it. I played it. I won game two, and then I just still had the same feeling. Like, man, like I feel like I won that on the skin of my teeth. Not enough amber, or not enough creatures, not enough creature control. And I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to go to the third deck at this point. And the third deck was Aquino Crom Circuit's Prince. It has that Skyborn I talked about. It does have an Against All Flags and one Rant and Rive. Um, I played and won a very close game with that again. And so it was cool. After the first three games, I had played all of my decks and I had won with all of them. And I was one game away from just going straight to the top cut because it was after 4 rounds. If you were 4-0, you're in the top cut with 2-0. So I then my fatal flaw, or maybe as JT would call it, my $1 billion plan, $5 blunder, was game four. I did not switch my deck, and I stuck with Aquino. I think I felt a little bit better about it. I also didn't have a ton of time between games, so I was like, all right, this one's already asleep. It's ready to go. Just stick with it. And I played Doctor Sheep and just got stomped. So I was 3-1 at that point, and then I said, let's just lean in and just change the deck every game from here on out, which I did.
Including during the finals, you changed your deck
Yeah,
against me game one to game two.
I did. Yeah, I think I started with Eco Stare, the Akugio deck, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I started with the other one. But
Akugio was game two.
okay, it was game two. I do think that I don't think a whole lot could have gone differently in those games. The only thing I think that would have given me a chance is if I had gotten the Akugio and the power up early. Um, if I got both of those early, I think I could have,
Hmm.
stolen a game, but I needed things to come in the right order. I think um, you had the bigger board in all of the matchups. I don't think I could have played my bigger board deck against you and kind of kept up. There just wasn't enough C in it. So I don't think I don't regret anything. I thought it
Hmm.
was fun to get to play all the decks. I think it's a great story. I think it's super cool that I was able to learn all three of them, and then in the finals, game one, seeing how the matchup went. Maybe if you had played something different, something that I saw had other weaknesses, I
Hmm.
could at least say at that point I'm familiar with my entire pool of decks and might be able to take advantage of it. But you didn't really have the weaknesses that I felt I could do anything about.
That was something interesting I wanted to ask you about. Was after game one, I remember you saying, kind of, had said to me, "I didn't really see a lot of your deck. I'm not sure what's coming." I'm curious, what kind of stuff were you looking for there? Was it just
Red line.
general? Right. Okay.
Because you called Skyborn once that game in game one,
Uh
and it was
huh.
like early in the game. You may have just been turn one where you just played a creature.
Hmm.
So I was really lamenting the fact that I could not make game one go longer because I really wanted to just see more of the Skyborn just to have an idea.
Hmm. Mm,
Yeah,
that's
because
interesting.
and then you probably noticed in game two there was a few times I just went to like 10 or 11 amber. I was like, I didn't see anything game one. If you got it here, you got it. But I just
Hmm.
felt my best chance at winning was just you know try to go up higher anyway and hope you didn't have it.
I ran into one red line throughout the weekend in round 3 or 4, and my philosophy, I kind of take that philosophy with red line usually, where I'm just make them have it.
Yeah, I
I
think
think.
concealed that's the best you can do.
Well,
Hmm.
especially in pick one sealed, right? In sealed alliance, you might say if you see Skyborn, there's more likelihood that there's going to be, if not red line, then at least an against all flags or two. But like, I mean, in pick one sealed, the Skyborn just had to come along for the ride. I don't know.
Maybe.
Hmm.
I mean, I think
Maybe.
if you're worried about a red line, you can use that turn to also remove some of their Skyborn creatures, just to be like, if you've got the red line,
Yeah.
at least I'm not going to let you reap twice afterwards. So
Right.
you can do things like that when you're playing against something or trying to play around something. Like I generally don't recommend in sealed if you don't know if they have it or not. I don't recommend like stopping at 6 or 7 to minimize the
Hmm.
damage because
Hmm.
you're just asking them to take you off check in another way and eventually make it even worse if they have it. So,
Yeah.
or you're giving them more time to find it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Don't
um,
disagree.
I
Don't
played
disagree.
against two red line decks. One was Dr. Sheep's, and he just, like I said, he destroyed me. He played the red line twice. I was not close to competing in that game against Dr. Sheep. And then the second game was against my local Wizard Random, which I think was the last round where the winner would go to the top cut. Um, and he also had a red line, but I had a Rant and Rive ready in case he did, and it pretty much negated all the damage that came from it. So I was able to hold on to that game because of the Rant and Rive.
Mm.
Nice. I have to give you some credit here too, Quick Draw. I mean, we talked about Barry not having the like 100 plus SAS deck that you see taking down seal events usually, but I mean, I'm looking at your decks here, 67, 69, 78, and like you played each of these and there's no obvious monster to a second place finish, which is commendable too. Very cool.
Well, a couple things. So SAS obviously isn't everything.
Totally.
I think is one, but I think the other thing that I think I want to highlight with this is that this is very different. This is a very different outcome than if we were playing Sealed Alliance, and I think we'll talk about this a bit later. But I really strongly think that Sealed pick one of three levels the playing field in a great way because it allows all of these decks that we've looked at tonight to compete with almost anything else out there. If we were playing Sealed Alliance, I think you'd have these like very highly tuned decks, and you'd be having even some cross house combos being set up. You'd have a lot more creature control because people are going to be mindful of adding things to their alliance that has that. And I just think that this is you're playing against people that have at least one house, maybe two, that are going to be weak, and it's not going to be able to do it at once. And I think that just really opens up avenues to take advantage of things, whether it's minimizing your own weaknesses or exploiting your opponents. I really think this tournament was a great example of why I think pick one of three is such a great format. Barry, do you have a preference between the two?
I don't know that I have a strong preference one way or the other. I do think I like them for different things. I am a fan of an occasional sealed alliance. I think the one or two vaults I get to a year in KFC, and I guess store championships, are about all that I can really handle for it. I'm just not at heart a deck builder for any card game, really. And I think trying to choose between, a 12 card pod as opposed to individual cards actually gives it more decision paralysis in my head, because some of these such minute decisions between, oh, do I want a 1 power creature or 2 power, which one has more damage pips, really, it challenges a different part of me, I think, than I'm used to Keyforge challenging.
Yeah, I can
uh,
definitely see that. I find that whenever I am playing Sealed Alliance, I'm shocked at how fast the time is up when you have to make your decision. Feels
mhm,
like I just started, and they're like, "Oh wait, you got 5 minutes. Start sleeving." I'm like, "Oh shoot."
yeah, my strategy is usually I will separate each 12 card pod into its own pile, and off the cuff I try and eliminate 3 that I just think are no good,
Hmm.
whether that's because they're just no good on their own or because I have a better version of that house in another one.
Yeah, yeah, that could be good for narrowing things down and helping that analysis paralysis a little bit.
Hmm. For an event, smaller event, I put in air quotes to refer to NEKO. I do generally, I love a good, sealed Archon. I think the crack 3, pick 1 really challenges this different idea. I like to think of it as the sledgehammer versus the sword in my head. I think when I'm doing a crack 3, pick 1, I'm really just looking for which deck do I think has a thing that I can do. So whether it is outboard, whether it is steal a ton, whether it is just resolve a bunch of pips, I'm looking for something that's just going to smash right through. Whereas when I'm trying to build a sealed alliance, I'm trying to build like a well balanced sword, that something that does a little bit of everything, more of an arcani style rather than I just need to be good at one thing and hope that it gets me by.
Hmm. Do you think that uh, do you think that's a good strategy in Sealed Alliance? Because I've generally always done that too. Like, oh, I want to make sure I have a little bit of animal control, a little bit of this. Maybe we are doing it wrong with Sealed Alliance.
I think it's an interesting question.
I'm a
Maybe.
rush player, so like I haven't thought about it, but if I could build a Sealed Alliance that's just all gas,
Hmm.
and sacrifice the creature control and the animal control, maybe I should do that. But
Hmm.
it's not something that I had considered before.
Right. I'm at heart generally, I'm kind of a combo player, I guess. I would generally like to do you know, the archive, the hold. My favorite card ever is Epic Quest. The highest high I ever got in Keyforge was in our Unchained tournament at our locals, where I managed to get 2 Epic Quest keys to win a game, and I've been chasing that ever since.
Wow. Was
Whoa.
it
Um,
one copy of EpiQuest or two copies?
it was 2 copies of Epic Quest.
Oh man.
Super
Um,
cool.
Did they fire in the same turn?
yeah,
Amazing.
I had to call over Dead Sync to confirm that I was allowed to forge more than. I think I also did a regular forge at the top of that turn. So I
Unbelievable.
like called him over to confirm that I was allowed to just forge all my keys in one turn.
You just called him over flex. That's all you did.
Well, I was playing his wife too, so I just really wanted to show.
And that's why his wife doesn't play Keyforge now.
Absolutely. Um, so I am generally attracted to the pods with a little bit of archiving, a little bit of maybe the bomb goes off, but maybe I also just make a reasonable amount of amber. And I think that's where Sealed Alliance kind of lets me as a player get that kind of, pipe dream that I really like that Sealed Archon doesn't. Like when I played Sealed Archon here, I looked at the Crassosaurus epic poem and thought, well, I have barely any ways to ensure that this happens, so I'm going to assume it'll never happen.
Which was a pretty good assumption. It didn't
Hmm.
happen, but I mean, for me though, like that when we went one time through the deck and you had played the Crass and I knew you had the epic poem,
Mm-hmm.
that threat really disrupted me because like
Mm-hmm.
I called Untamed just to kill the Crassosaurus. I didn't have any other cards in hand, so even though you maybe thought like I'm never going to pull this off and it's probably not worth it, the threat alone, when your opponent realizes that's there, is strong in its own right.
Which I think goes back to my general strategy of playing Keyforge that I kind of like to use, which is I'm a big proponent of make them have it kind of gameplay.
Mhm.
I'm not generally I'm not one to shy away from a big burst turn if I suspect there's um a red line or an EP or something coming. Just because if my opponent has it, I want to, force it then or force them to be on the back foot from now on, be on the beat down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I respect that. I think that's a good approach too, especially in sealed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially in sealed. Totally. I can't speak to these decisions in Crucible Clash sealed, but I am thinking back to KFC Sealed Alliance and KFC when I was deciding between the well-rounded Sanctum pod with Benevolent Charity and a few copies of what's that creature that will ready a neighboring Sanctum dude
Gray
on
Warden.
Grey Warden. It was like triple Grey Warden, Benevolent Charity, a bunch of capture, some creature control, and it was like, all right, play this like really nice, well-rounded Sanctum pod, or play Trink's Creed and a bunch of garbage. And I'm like, nope, doing the Trink's Creed combo shenanigans are happening, or big swings are happening. So yeah, I feel that I feel that trade off, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My I think my KFC deck was kind of built around trying to play out a bronze key imp and ward it so that I could forge a key really quick first and then prevent my opponent from getting through any. And that strategy might have worked one time in my 5 games
Hmm.
or 4 games, whatever it was.
Was that a
Maybe.
sealed open or the LCQ?
Want to say that was LCQ.
Yeah, I get them mixed up in my head now because they were both PV, and I don't actually remember what I opened in the first one.
For all I remember, it also very well could have been Baltimore Vault Tour. So
Hmm.
at some
Yeah.
point, I had a bronze key imp and an Imperium, and my monkey brain thought, what if?
uh, get an encounter suit, then we're talking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Countersuit's pretty cool. Your day's still getting ruined by fates, but what can you do? You can't have it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's interesting though. I hadn't thought about. I mean, because quick draw. You'll remember. I don't know. Barry may or may not remember. Our fan at home may or may not remember. We did some experiments or an experiment a while back around looking at the spread of the field in a sealed alliance event versus a sealed pick one event, and how that played out for Call of the Archons. We looked at in particular, just to make the numbers easy, and I hadn't really thought about how getting to play more towards getting to realize a bias towards combo or realize a bias towards well-roundedness might play into that too, which is another wrinkle that's hard to model, but is a pretty cool wrinkle to kind of add to the mix. Totally.
Yeah, I was thinking about the experiment we ran on the sealed alliance versus traditional sealed, and how it might look different now. I mean, I know we talked about um, at the time we did that experiment. It's been 2 years now, over 2 years since we did it.
Holy
Um,
moly.
I know time flies. It was right around the time I believe that GR came out, if I'm not mistaken, and I think we were just kind of concerned that SAS wasn't super accurate from some of the more recent sets, and I think it's still kind of true. You have things like prophecies that are kind of changing it now, and tokens change the math on it a lot. I think Crucible Clash could be a set we could do that experiment on once again and kind of see how that plays out. Especially having had NEKO, we kind of get an idea of what the field is like. Um, there were not a ton of bangers. Like I think the two of the best decks I saw, and no disrespect to your deck, Barry, but the two best decks I saw were the two Sins decks. One was Orbital Tangent, came in at like 94 SAS, and then I thought King of Bling's deck was really scary, but I looked it up later and I think it was only like a 70 SAS. Um, but you know, these are all decks that were competing at the top tables, and I just wonder what things would look like if we were allowed to make alliances instead.
Same. Yeah, interesting. Could be interesting to revisit. Maybe I don't know. Maybe also thinking about prophecies too. Probably was something that we could add to the mix, just to kind of get a sense for how that changes numbers. But
well, so
revisit.
looking at your research paper, it does make me kind of interested to see, now that we're getting more of these 37th card sets, right? We have tokens were at the time, and you guys do have an addendum as to why those weren't included in the math. Crucible Clash, I guess there isn't a SAS value attributed to the powers, but theoretically they would be there in an official OP tournament. And with prophecies, I do wonder how that shifts the math, if that then becomes part of that overall calculation of deck power through SAS, or if that becomes like a new axis to consider of variability towards this data.
Actually, I wonder if I thought the Archon power did count towards SAS, but maybe it doesn't.
It gets a rating. I don't know if it is included in the number now. We'll have to do some math. But yeah, I had to pull up those notes. That was 2 years ago, Jan 30, 2024. Holy moly.
It's crazy.
Crazy indeed. Yeah,
I was also hoping that we had enough buy-in from people in Keychain to add their decks to the results, but it looks like we've only had 8 people add them so far. Barry's not in there. Champion's deck's not added to Keychain yet.
Let the shaming commence. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it'd be kind of cool if we could extract the data from there. And
I only have so much brain power for Keyforge, guys. I need to reference Hanna-Barbera cartoons too at times.
Okay, so looks like Marty in the chat saying it gets SAS rating, but it was taken off the main score based on some feedback, which I think makes sense if you're running into a random CC deck on TCO, where.
Oh, we lost JT's audio. Looks like JT's going to need to fix his.
I have to give a shout out to. I don't know if this deck was opened that weekend, NEKO weekend, or just scanned in February. But a huge shout out to King of Bling, who opened Russell Shallow Goes Adjutant and put it for sale, and it tripped my Russell filters or alerts, and they were like, yeah, we'll send this to you, and I'm super appreciative of that. So thank you, King of Bling, for adding it to the collection for the clan. Love it indeed.
Nice.
Which is a cool Amber Skies deck. So it wasn't one from their sealed pool, but potentially one that was open that weekend. Yeah.
Probably was, because that was opened on Sunday at the earliest. So
there you go. So awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Shout out and thank you very much. It will be much appreciated indeed.
I've been meaning to start collecting decks with the name Barry in them.
Are there any?
There's a ton of Barry decks. I think there's 2 for sale on DOK right now.
Huh.
But
so, yeah. And on this topic, I'm sorry I didn't ask you at the beginning, but we usually ask people where their handles came from. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, that Barry is your actual name. You can be cagey about that.
This is correct. Yep.
and
so Skywalker comes
you
from
must
this
be a big
little
Star Trek fan, huh?
So Skywalker comes from this little indie movie from the 70s that me and my friends discovered in middle school. I don't think many people have really heard of it. The guy didn't go on to do all that much. Yeah, I think it was called Star Battles. I haven't watched it since.
Yeah, I'll have to
Nice.
look it up.
How about the numbers? Is just numbers or
So that came from when I was in middle school, and all my friends made Instagram handles with like birthdays and important numbers in their lives. And I thought for a minute and I said, well, I need a set of numbers. And then I tapped three random numbers and it has followed me ever since.
No way, random.
Yeah.
I mean, it 374 is random in the sense that like, okay, it's not a date,
Uh
it's
huh.
not a year.
I have
Um,
had people ask if it's a date and then try and work backwards to figure
yeah,
out what date
what
it
could
would
that
be.
possibly be? Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow,
Yeah. Completely meaningless string of numbers given meaning by the fact that I keep using it. Kind of poetic, I think.
it's
I like it?
beautiful.
I like it. Not like Quick Draw's numbers, which have meaning that he's gonna remind us of. Remind us of the meaning behind your numbers, Quick Draw.
I feel like you're trying to get me to say it. I feel like we haven't talked about this before. I don't know. I think we'll save that story for another day.
Okay. All right. We'll keep trying. Cool. Nice. Nice. I was curious if the 374 had meaning, and you're, playing coy. I believe that it is, but that's okay. We'll let it slide. Uh, Dead Sync with the chat. Yeah. If there's some detective work to be done, Dead Sync loves a puzzle. He may uncover it. Let's see.
So we have to talk about some of the other prizing that came up at NEKO. Obviously, you got the trophy that you showed, you got the playmat, but the one that everyone was really hoping to get, you haven't shown us yet.
Oh, yeah. A great prize, technically declared food by the FDA since 1847, which is when this pack might have been produced. The glorious traditional NEKO wafers.
That's right. And this is what everyone was, really gunning for over the weekend. They didn't want
Hmm.
the pride, they didn't want the trophy, they didn't want more decks.
Which,
Uh,
a big shout out to Metal Zoa, who made a NEKO cat shaped cake, which was completely surrounded on the outside with these things in like rainbow color order. And it was very beautiful. And it was the crunchiest cake I've ever eaten.
I strategically went for so Metal Zoa had that whole cake that you talked about, but he had
Hmm.
a lot of leftover chocolate and cream that
Hmm.
was part of the inside of the cake, and he kind of put that in like a big bowl as like just here's like an extra cake without the NEKO wafers on the outside.
Hmm.
I strategically chose that one instead of the one that was surrounded with all the NEKO wafers. I did not want to risk another NEKO wafer making its way into my mouth.
I assumed that bowl was a big bowl of dirt and worms, and so I was expecting chocolate pudding. And then when I started eating, it was just more cake.
But if it was dirt and worms, it would still probably be comparable to the NEKO wafers.
Dirt and
Yes.
worms being the treat dirt and worms as opposed to like actual dirt and worms.
Take your pick. I mean, JT, when was the last time you had a NEKO wafer?
The last time I saw a NEKO wafer was when you ate it a year ago, when you ate one a year ago.
That
And
is
before
correct.
that, it's probably been like 20 years. So
And thank you for the reminder there. So Barry, it is now a tradition on bottom of the beaker that the
Hmm.
NEKO champion eats a NEKO wafer live, so we can see the reaction. And you're gonna open it. So I know you had some big plans for this to maybe put it in
So
resin or make some amber tokens out of it. But
yeah,
you're gonna
so
crack it open and eat one.
it is a pink NEKO wafer stamped with the name. If anyone can see that at home.
wow, it's incredible
Uh,
that Andrew and company sprung for branded candy for this event. That's pretty cool.
Printed by Artiforge.
Did by Art of Forge.
if any folks out there work for the NEKO Foodstuffs Corporation, I am open for sponsorships and commercial deals.
Mm.
Ostensibly, I'm told these each have an individual flavor.
That is just an intense crunch. I remember that. It's bringing back nightmares
Yes.
right now.
Mm.
Yes.
And this flavor is the pink penicillin I would have to take when I would get an infection as a child.
Hey, that's not too bad. That's not too
That is
bad.
a vivid description. I can almost taste it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It is really getting stuck in my molars. This is lovely.
Yeah. So
Nice.
take a drink of that, whatever that is in that bottle. Are you going to be eating another one for us, or is that going to be it?
So, as Quickdraw mentioned, which who knows if this plan will actually occur, on the car ride back, Dead Sink asked me to eat one in the car, and I said, "Oh, I think I'm going to get them encased in resin as a defense tactic." And he goes, putting each of them in resin might make a cool amber token.
I think it would.
So,
I think it'd be great. You would have the best. So this year you had the best Crucible Clash deck.
mm-hmm,
You had the best Crucible Clash name.
mm-hmm,
Next year, when you return, you'll have the best tokens at
mm-hmm.
NEKO.
And slowly they'll be consumed by mold on the inside.
I don't know
And
if they will be actually. I think they'll be pretty safe for mold for a long time.
Yeah, so if you see me at a vault with small pieces of candy encased in glass, you now have the origin story as to where my great tokens came from.
JT, I'm only thinking of this now, but are we going to get sued for having him eat that? It's like almost not safe.
that's this was all CGI and AI generated. I don't know. I don't sue us, folks.
I'm not even a real person. There was no NEKO, everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Keyforge ended 4 years ago.
Just 4?
Nice. That's I don't know. Great question. I am curious about the different flavors though. Did we establish that there are different flavors of wafers, or was that kind of a myth?
I think the only way you could establish that is if you ate more than one, which no one's ever done.
Mammon DG told me that there are different flavors, and I trust him. Vaguely.
I mean, good enough for me. It's good enough for me.
I wonder if anyone ate the wafers and the cake. Did people eat that?
I guess I did eat those, but that was mostly overtaken by the taste of chocolate.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
The texture is so bad though too. Like the crunch on them. You said they were like stuck in your teeth. It's just no cake is gonna hide that.
Yeah. Crunchiest cake I've ever eaten, and I don't know that I ever care to really try and beat that record.
Well, like we said, I don't know, NEKO Candy Company. If you want to sponsor, sponsor
NEKO
us,
Candy Company, I will eat as much of your product as you want if there is a check coming to me for it.
Wow. There you go. All right, we'll send that out into the world and see what comes back. Nice. Funny.
So Barry, back to NEKO with a K for a few minutes. Do you have any favorite stories from the weekend or from the main event or either or that you want to share?
My favorite main event game that I got to play was against one of my locals, Chip. As you might tell from my attitude on this podcast, I tend to be a very unserious person when it comes to playing Keyforge. And there's a part of me that kind of dislikes the kind of stern facade that we put on when we're in the middle of these games, which I do understand. There's a lot on the line. There's all these things, but it was very nice getting to play him because the two of us could relax for that entire game. And there was a lot more of a cracking joke back and forth. There was a lot more of our usual bits going on. My other favorite memory comes from right after the main event, where I challenged great judge and Connecticut Keyforge leader Dead Sink to a game with a GR deck from my prize pack. And then he proceeded to absolutely wipe the floor with me by recurring a spooky charge. And so at the very conclusion of the match, I had just gotten the trophy. Everything was just done. I took the trophy, slammed it on the table and said, "Okay, you win. You take the title now."
Wow. It's also impressive that as soon as the tournament was over, just went through the finals. You were instantly like, let's play more Keyforge. I love that.
I really love these in-person events just because like I play a lot of Keyforge at home, but there really is nothing compared to cracking a deck on TCO and playing, an online weekly compared to, you know, here's 40 new people who I don't generally get to play with. Dead Sync, I guess, is a person I play with very often, but even still, there was just a love of getting to play. Uh, Runner up for favorite non tournament game was in the hotel lobby. Albino Cheese Monkey showed me his format, which he calls Wildest Wormhole,
I've heard of this.
which
Remind us how it goes again. I don't think I remember it.
so in Wildest Wormhole, you break up your deck into six card piles.
Hmm.
So there is no house call. All of your cards are just considered to have versatile and belong to all houses. So it is purely a game of how well do you sequence the cards in your hand and that are left on the board. And so him, Fig, and myself played a game in the lobby before Sunday's tournament began. And as a lover of the sillier formats of this game, it was really just spectacular because it kind of became a game of Kingmaker, as all multiplayer games do. I had the artifact that says when your amber is stolen from you, your opponent doesn't get to do their forge a key step.
Red
And
Hole
so,
Registry. Yeah.
yep. And so Mike Cheese Monkey was playing a super burst deck, and Fig had a deck that was stealing a lot. So Fig would steal from me and then declare that Cheese Monkey skipped his forge a key step, and that just went on for like 4 turns just to keep the key out of, because we also only
Wow.
played to one key because I don't think any of us could handle if we had to play the entire game like that.
That sounds similar to the Keymander game we played at KFC, JT. When
I was gonna, I was gonna say, I don't know if it was Kingmaker as much as Queen Slayer, but yeah.
yeah, I was playing a 7 Whirlpool deck, and Not Tonight decided to play 4 or 5 auto encoders and just archive her entire deck and just try to OTK. And that was when you and Miggy and you just decided, hey, let's pass this Amber around and give it to Quick Draw, and then have him win before she can in the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, very fair game. Love it. The Wildest Wormhole sounds wild. I expected it to be more of like just play the top card of your deck all the time.
Cheese Monkey described it as that to the extreme because he said, whereas Wild Wormhole is a card that lets you play one thing no matter what house it is, he was like, I would really love it if my hand were 6 Wild Wormholes.
Okay, so that's where it kind of comes from. Is that basically you're just playing 6 Wild Wormholes without the Amber, and then you're just whatever happens.
Mm-hmm. But then in addition, it becomes the game of how well can you convince everyone else that the rules should work like this? Because Cheese Monkey is not a man who sits down and thinks out the crazy things that he brings into the world.
He just wants to see what happens.
So it becomes a game of if you have 6 decks and at the end of each turn you pick up one whole deck, how do chains work with this? Because I was playing DT and took the tide. And the answer we came up with was no one knows and try not to get caught.
Lovely. The other thing that your 2 stories here are making me think is that when I've traveled for large events for other games, other CCGs or something like that, people spend all night playing other games like board games or something different and just hanging out. But with Keyforge specifically, when the main event's over and you're all hanging out all night or however long you want to hang out, we're still playing Keyforge. Like there's a lot less other gaming happening at Keyforge events. It's always like, let's play more Keyforge, a different kind of Keyforge, but it's always sticking to this. Like that's just fascinating to me.
I think that's kind of the magic of it. I did bring a couple other board games that I had, seen if anyone else wanted to play. But I think there is such a beauty in venturing out from the people that I normally play with and realizing that, wow, there are other people going through this same experience as I do. I had a really nice Archon game for Sweet 16 against Dom Pham in the lobby, where he was playing one of his Archon potential decks. I was playing one of my token Archon decks. And it was this great back and forth of, talking about history in the game and, the things we like to do while we're playing it. And it's just such a nice, refreshing feeling to see that there are these other people doing the thing. And it's not just my little group of 5 people sitting in a game store. I think that's where the love of playing with other people, no matter how long it takes, goes with it.
I like that.
Love that too. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, JT, does it now feel like you were there?
I mean, I didn't get to experience it for real. Hopefully next year. That would be. I don't know. I will do my best, but I do feel like I got to share in a little bit of the. I don't know, if not the living, then the reliving. So I appreciate that. Totally.
Mm-hmm. And there was one of your locals that came down there. Kid Dynamite made the trek from Maine.
Yeah. He was asking me a little while back, if it was a potential for me for carpooling and stuff, and would have loved to make it happen. So I don't know. Maybe there'll be a main car pool and not just a main car coming to NEKO 3. That would be pretty cool.
So.
Yeah, cool. It's actually not too far from where I used to live in Philadelphia, just outside of Lancaster County. Lancaster County, is that right? Anyway, yeah. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe.
I think we got pretty lucky with the weather, Barry, because it was iffy for a while if it was going to have another snowstorm during the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And the big blizzard hit like a week before, so the roads were clean and it was easy to get there and get around. And even though it was cold, it wasn't too bad.
It shifted south. Someone on the last day was saying that they were contemplating staying another night just because school had already been canceled for their kids, and they were just, wherever they were down south was just getting snowed in relentlessly.
Yeah, that's kind of like always the risk for having events like this up north in the winter, and unfortunately Jupiter was one who said that they couldn't make it. I couldn't remember if it was because of the weather or like they were just other reasons, but we were pretty lucky to not have more cancellations. I think with the forecast that was kind of sketchy.
Mm-hmm. And it was very pretty looking around with the snow and these wide open fields and things.
It was. I'm not a huge fan of snow, but I have to admit it looked pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, folks, I don't know. It was very nice, and I am congratulate you both again on your finishes and your laurels and your accomplishments for the weekend. And it sounds like it was, not just a weekend full of triumph, but also a weekend full of, good memories and good times. So that's awesome. Hats off to the organizers. I am, super, super stoked that they decided to make it a thing, a glorious tradition, as it were. So
yeah, and also we mentioned Orbital Tangent's deck, but just a shout out to Orbital Tangent in general for coming out and getting to play and getting third place in his first major Keyforge event. Didn't have to work for this one, got to enjoy it and show off some skills. So huge props to Orbital Tangent for doing so well.
I did jokingly ask him after the event if the clause on that article they published about Ghost Galaxy will make any one-off event a Worlds qualifier could retroactively apply. And he did very sternly look at me and go, no, but be on the lookout.
All right. On the lookout now.
He just had to say that while the cameras were rolling, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, folks. Well, how about we hear a word from our sponsors, and maybe we'll talk about playing a game. See how we're doing. All right. This episode of Bottom Beaker is brought to you by. Oops. Oh my gosh. What was it brought to us by? This episode of Bottom Beaker was brought to you by Pull Up Stakes, the Crucible's premier social betting circle for competitive pull-up speculation. Place your bets on how many pull-ups a Brobnar giant can actually do or count, and whether a Logos construct can achieve the requisite 90-degree elbow bend, and if a Disdemon's wings are enough to compensate for that heavy, heavy soul. Matches are strictly observed, loosely regulated, and hotly argued afterward. Remember, it's not gambling if you're very confident. At least that's what they say. I don't know, Quick Draw, how do you think you do in a pull-up stakes competition?
Terribly. I'm not good at pull-ups, but I also have to say this is our second sponsor named Pull-Up Stakes.
I'm glad you are keeping track. This is not to be confused with the meat packing company Pull-Up Stakes. different sort of stakes at stake here, Quick Draw. But I'm glad that you're paying attention. You missed the intro. You missed the intro, but you caught us on the sponsor. So awesome.
So all this time you're just like, I don't even know if he's listening to me. I don't even know if he's doing anything. What's he doing this whole time? And I'm happy to say that yes, I listened to all of these.
Well, I ran it by the lawyers, by legal, and they said that it's not an issue. These two companies are playing in different, they're operating in different markets, so there's no kind of concern over infringement of names and that sort of thing. So it's cool.
And now you're dragging us into the middle of this litigation.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on. Folks, I'm going to let you know, too, that Bottom Beaker is recorded live on Wednesday evenings right here at 9:30 Eastern Time on twitch.tv/sloppylabwork. You can find recordings of our past shows and other streams over at youtube.com. We are at Sloppy Lab Work over there. And for the very best content, 34? No. 57 times distilled and scraped from the bottom of the beaker. Search for that very phrase in your podcatcher of choice, and we'll be there, ready to chow down on some NEKO wafers with you. All that more at sloppylabwork.com. And thanks so much to champion Barry Skywalker for joining us. Yeah, showing off the swag. Thanks so much, Barry. It was great to have you on.
It was wonderful to be on, gentlemen.
That is the foil playmat showing off right now on stream, printed by Artiforge. Yeah, huge congrats, Barry. Well done.
Thank you. And we've said it before, such a huge shout out to Dead Sync, to all of the organizers, and to the Redacted guys for hosting us down there. They've really put in so much work these past 2 years to throw an absolutely spectacular event.
Yeah. 100%. And Ghost Galaxy had the article about the event the week before leading up to it. I hope this inspires other people. Maybe myself and JT have been talking about it for a while, but more community events like this would be incredible, especially more geographically around the country and around the world. And I'm just going to volunteer, Dead Sync and Redacted. If you have ideas for doing this, reach out to them and they will help you make it happen.
I would like to personally confirm that Dead Sync will do anything you DM him about Keyforge, and he will make sure to get on it and get someone else like JT Russell to do it.
Nice. You were doing great, and then you fell off at the end there. I guess so. Quick Draw, any words for the folks getting off at the final audio stop?
Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it. It's been good to chat with you. Good to see you again. Congratulations. Everybody else, thanks for listening, and stay sloppy.
Stay sloppy indeed. Awesome. Well, I'm going to cut the audio there. Very nice. And how are we doing, folks? Are we feeling up for a stream game here? Got time?
I have time if Barry's got time.
Sure.
Well, I had an idea.
Oh, did it hurt? No, I'm just kidding. You're setting me up. I'm just playing with you.
No, I'm not setting you up. We normally play Hand and Brain, Barry, as you might know.
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar with Hand and Brain?
Yeah, one person makes house call, one person makes hand decisions, right?
Yes, like the one person will call the house, the other person has to play the entire hand without getting help.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the bottom of the beaker card in the
Mm-hmm.
community deck.
Yep.
We usually do that here. What if we did your Neko championship winning deck against my third deck that did not get a chance to play against you?
Sounds fun.
JT, what do you think?
I think that sounds great. I think that sounds great. I'm. I mean, you guys could just play it too, and I could commentate it. That's also fine. Because I feel like I don't know. Am I muddying the waters of the science that's happening?
Nah, never. Hand and brain is, I think.
All right. All right. All right. I'm down. This sounds fun.
So
So
I'll be the brain.
be the brain. Excellent. And the deck you did not play, was that Aquino? Or is that
Yes, that was Aquino.
All right. So this was all a prelude to for Quick Draw to see what could have been.
Yeah, if JT wins this matchup, then I'm either going to think I should have played this deck in the entire finals, or JT is just better at Keyforge than me. One of those two things.
I may draw better. We'll see. Ooh, I'm gonna fix that.
Could also be setting JT up for failure here by pitting my worst deck against the NEKO championship winning deck. So one of those two things then.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna. I mean, we've talked about these. We've talked about these decks a lot, but I'm still gonna show hands, yes, but also hide deck lists just to keep it as close to the real experience as possible. So I'm making a casual game. A beginner game with password sloppy, and I have Aquino, Crom Circuits Prince. Excellent. Excellent. This is like the NEKO bonus game, the NEKO Finals bonus game, indeed. It's too bad. It's too bad Barry already gave DeadSync the trophy, or we could put something on the line here.
Yeah, it's Dead Sinks now, so.
And it was legally binding. He had his attorney there and everything.
All right, so it looks like Barry's going first, and then JT. Do I get to make the mulligan call? Is that right?
You get to make the mulligan call. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say we keep this.
Okay.
Kentro, I knew it was coming. I knew it.
Why mess with something that's working so well?
Yeah, that's fair. Let's go Brobnar.
All right, we've got an Outpost, we've got a Valder, and we've got this Incite Violence. That's not gonna do anything. I'm also realizing that there are a lot more cards in this set that do things I'm not familiar with, or new cards in this set than I kind of gave it credit for initially.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go Skyborn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start with Guy with a Sword.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna Boomerang and then deal a damage to Guy with a Sword.
Oh.
Just a Boat. And then this knight is also a pirate.
All right. So JT, first of all, would you have kept that hand?
I think I would have. I may. Yeah, I think I would have.
Okay.
I think I would have.
Yeah, I like the Outpost. This is already a sizable board that is worrying me, and that endurance is also worrying me.
Hey, don't you worry about that thing. Let me worry about that thing.
Yeah, so I think we can go Sanctum here.
Interesting. I gotta think. I gotta think for a sec. Think it's not bad, right? Oh, sorry. You said what?
Sanctum.
Oh, Sanctum. Okay, got it.
I hope that's okay with you.
It is. I actually, for a second, had this like moment where I'm like looking at the hand of TCO, and like Sanctum and Skyborn kind of blended together. I was like, but I have a 5-card. Hand. Like, what are you talking about?
I do know what you mean. The color schemes on recent sets, I feel, have been a bit like blurring, especially in draconian measures.
Your battle line, huh?
Do you guys normally listen to something when you're playing TCO?
No, I don't. Do you?
I usually have soundtracks on in the background. I like to give it like a battle feel.
Like actual movie
Oh,
soundtracks,
nice.
or do you have like?
Yeah, like I've been I think the last few nights I've had Lord of the Rings soundtracks on. During ABR I had The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, so it felt like a cowboy duel.
Nice.
That's a good one. Like yeah, Ennio Morricone, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I have this inspiration. Interesting. I kind of want to get rid of one of the Skyborn one of the Spyborn creatures next to Endurance. So I'm probably fighting, but thinking about this for a sec. If I don't fight it off, you can deal with my board, but then nah, just gonna reap. Just gonna reap.
Interesting. Okay, I would have fought personally.
I could have fought the champion, and then Endurance has no Skyborn neighbors, which is very tempting.
Well, the
Oh no,
Colonel
the
Mariana is
Mariana is
Skyborn.
also Skyborn. Yeah.
Yeah.
One less Skyborn neighbor, I guess. Yeah.
Barry's
Maybe I
just
should
going
have.
wide here.
Maybe I should have. Oofa doofa.
No, I will not move this creature.
Wow. Okay.
Well then. That is a decision here.
Come on, Maverick Gateway to Dis. I know it's coming.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be nice.
Dang, this is tough. I guess. I guess Skyborn.
Oofa doofa. Interesting.
This is kind of like how it felt during the event too, where it's just like you get a wide board, you've got armor, you've all 4, 5, 6 power. It's really tough in this format.
Okay.
Thought you might have reaped again.
I thought about it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yep. Ripper Jack. Oop. Oh boy. All right.
Just like you said,
Yeah.
Barry. Getting that Colonel Mariana back in play.
Yup. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Hmm.
Oh man. I said this deck had 21 creatures, but I don't know where they are. So um, let's do Skyborn.
Yeah, I like Skyborn too.
All right, that's good.
So, not on a flank. Did I reap with this Earl of Hurl? Okay. I may just be tunneling too hard and not getting rule of 6 tier, but
No, I don't think so. I mean, I would
this
have probably
legit.
fought the Kentro, just
Fought the
because that power
Kentro.
boost, I
Interesting.
think, could
It's
end up hurting.
problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be fair. Oofa doofa. Ancient power. Okay.
Ancient power. Editor, insert a cool shot of me doing like an anime laser thing when I play
Yeah.
Ancient Power.
Oh.
Hmm.
I don't think
Let's see.
Odawant's ability came up once in the entire tournament. I don't think I ran into a single person playing Steel.
Really?
Interesting. I I had one deck with Odoak, and I definitely I definitely wanted to play it partially for the Odoak. I thought it would come up big. I don't actually remember. I think it did stop something once, but I don't actually remember now.
Well, I guess that might be a good point. Or it did come up and I forgot about it, and Dead Sync can take the trophy from me for creating an improper rules state.
Um, I guess I don't know if you're gonna like this one, JT, but I'm gonna say Sanctum.
Sanctum, he says. Hmm.
Oh, he's going to play Trank's Creed.
I might.
Except in this format, the most powerful enemy creature is probably never gonna die.
Okay.
So with the events of Certain Darkness and with whatever timeline they've given us for new product, do you think NEKO is now the last event where Sanctum's going to be in a winning sealed deck?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Interesting question. That's yeah. I can't think of a reason why.
Right? Do you think by the time vaults start this year, we should be playing draconian measures? No.
Um, yeah, we should be. I'm actually wondering if we're going to get draconian measures in time for sealed store championships.
Store champs, maybe.
Mm.
Store champs might be the one exception, depending on when draconian measure shows up.
Hmm.
I would not be sad to see Crucible Clash and more used more, like Marty's saying.
Hmm.
We're gonna see.
We're doing. We have 2 stores around here, so we're doing one Tokens of Change store champ and one Amber Skies store champ.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have a store champ kit. We are doing Archon and Sealed, and we're not planning to do. We never play Alliance, but maybe we'll do a second Sealed. I was thinking of Triad. That was my first instinct instead of Alliance. Well, this sucks. That Shield of Justice was just so rude.
We're in a tight spot. We're in a tight spot.
It's real tight. It's real tight. And you have no Amber still.
I mean, Barry's just holding some for me.
He is, and I don't know if we're gonna get that back. Wowza. Let's go. I feel like I can't. I'm not gonna be able to make a good choice here. I'm just gonna say Sanctum.
Mm-hmm. Um. About that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, the words in this format are so brutal.
It's pretty good.
Even with my other
Pretty
two
good.
decks that had a natural selection I feel gets a lot worse when you're up against words.
Hmm. Glorious tradition. There it is indeed.
Someone should name a tournament after that.
Not a bad idea.
Move that there. Let's exalt you. Kill that guy.
Poor guy.
He had it coming.
I guess.
Kill that guy. And then ward that guy.
There's more.
And that guy. We
Wow.
got bureaucrating to do.
Sure do.
Okay, we'll do Grobnar.
We are gonna do Brobnar.
Quick draw. Was there anyone in the tournament you were really hoping to go up against that you didn't end up paired with?
Um, I like everybody. I wanted to play as many people as possible. I don't know, so it's I was kind of focused, despite like the meme of changing a deck every round. I was still pretty focused on just doing what I could to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't really thinking about like, oh, I hope I play someone
Mm.
specific. I was hoping that I did not play my local Wizard Random, and I ended up playing him
Mm.
just because we play all the time.
Right.
Um, so
I wanted to go up against Orbital Tangent. You
yeah,
see him running all the events. I was really interested to see what it was like actually playing against him.
yeah, I played against him in the I think it was the top four. It was
Mm.
the semifinals. And we had a good game. It was super close. I should have mentioned this on the cast, but like all of my games, literally every game I played that weekend, there was at least one point in the game where I said to myself, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I'm probably going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to like keep your head down and just keep playing at it. But I had a few points in that game against Orbital Tangent where I felt like that. Because he had an Amber Drake and he had Obsidian Forge and he had Sins, I think. Did he have the Sins? Yeah, he had
Was
Sins.
three
He had a
sins in that
Cauterized
one, I think.
Vitality. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, it was just through like from turn one. I think he played the Drake on turn two and the Obsidian Forge on turn three or something like that. Like, it was just really, it felt like an uphill battle the whole way.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Definitely was a tough match.
Mm.
Okay, so JT, so we got the rant and rive off, and you ended up killing Endurance
Mm-hmm.
with the outposts. Good. And then Barry just captured a few more, played some more creatures, got the gambit out. So lots of fighting is about to happen, and it's dire. Um,
I mean,
yeah, you know.
you know.
Um, Let me do some counting.
So responding to the chat, speaking of pulse cannon, I think one of a game I really enjoyed throughout the tournament. I was paired up against Stragen 8, one of the redacted guys, and he had a double pulse cannon deck that was pipped into Sanctum, I think. So it was really effective at taking away the board advantage of the deck by just making it so that everything I was doing with them was just unstun, unstun. And then 2/3 of the time, he would stun 3 more. And then 1/3 of the time, he would stun 6 more. And it was
Uh,
so oppressive to a deck
yeah,
that wants to use its creatures like
the pulse
this.
cannons are great. I do love pulse cannon this set. JT, I'm gonna go Sanctum.
Sanctum feels good.
Yeah, I don't know if I have to check what the chat was saying about the pulse cannon. Yeah, a pulse Dead Sync says pulse cannon was the unsung hero of the game. I think I'd even go so far to say that it was a very sung hero because I think after the game he realized that he should have destroyed the pulse cannon with the cauterized vitality. Because I was able to win the game because end game I did have a burst. He dropped 3 sins, the one that captures everything and the one that moves all captured amber to your pool. Um, and I was able to stun all of his sins, so he could not do anything to take me off check. So the pulse cannon actually it won me that game. Um, JT, well done drawing that card. That's what I hoped you would do.
Yeah. Um, I've avoided running my steel into the Odoac as well, which I'm particularly proud of. So that's cool.
Hmm.
Wow, that You seem like you turned that around
I
rather
mean,
quickly. I'm not saying
tur-
it's turned around, but like
turned around
it went
as
from looking
r- r-
absolutely dire to like on paper being pretty close.
yeah, turned around's a romantic characterization for where we're at, but yeah,
Itself.
yeah, I'm regretting having that Kentro around an awful lot.
Yeah, I learned the hard way.
Mm.
I'm going to give my dog shoulder armor.
Stalwart indeed.
I think shoulder armor is one of my most misplayed cards because I always forget that you lose the buff when it's not on a flank.
I think you did that against me.
I think so.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, I don't usually take that thing off the flank, but he did.
I think one of my biggest misplays against you was I had planned out this big Saurian turn in my head where I was gonna, use the Bellataurin to ready and fight something. But then I forgot that whatever I was gonna ready and fight with was stunned.
Hmm.
So it didn't happen. And then I think it was to kill the Akuga, and then that got to stick around for a few more turns.
It did, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I was
How did you lose all your amber again? Jeez, oh man. Another Mariana.
he's just holding it for me still.
Um,
Hmm.
let's do Skyborn.
Skyborn is fair. Hmm. I have that card in my archives. I'm not sure if I want to pull it or not. Thinking. Maybe I do. Brutal. Brutal. That's tricky. Yep, I think I take it. It's a Ripperjack that's not going to get to steal. Very sad.
I agree with that decision.
Yeah. This guy's going to come back, though, with a ward. Hmm.
Oh, hey, Odawok's doing something.
It did a thing.
Yeah.
It did a thing.
Just when you said that he doesn't do anything.
Well, what do I know? Wow, there are a lot of the same cards in these decks.
There's some overlap. There's a little overlap. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got some taunt.
Taunting. We're doing the taunt thing. I wouldn't mind some keys too. Keys are pretty cool. Interesting. Oh boy.
Where'd all my amber go?
Forged a key with it. What do you
Oh, right. I knew that. Play that guy. Put an amber onto that guy. And then purge the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kill the mutant.
Bomberang.
Suffer it not to live.
Oofa
Play
doofa.
that dude.
I can't believe how many Imperiums are in this deck. It just seems absurd.
Pretty good.
Do that. Unstun. 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 Anyone else here? Nope. Oh. Let's get glorious.
Nice.
All right.
Got some work to do.
Yeah, we do. We got a decision to make here.
Glad it's on you. This is tricky.
I'm glad I don't have to face that board. Let's go. Is this the time to just fight or move some cards? Let's go Skyborn.
Interesting. That's tricky.
I will say you did a good job last turn of doing what I hoped you would do.
making me do some thinking here now. Quick draw.
Yeah, that's the plan. So I assume you wouldn't have gone Skyborn.
I don't know that I would have. I think I like Skyborn the turn after this, but also it's very likely I don't have a huge Skyborn board after this.
That's kind of what I thought too.
So oofa doofa. Your dudes are all so beefy. Okay. All right, this will not be perhaps the most optimized of turns. But we're gonna see. For you. And I do also want... Yeah, I could have done that better. I think we're gonna send the U to the discard pile. Deal with you. Going to check here. I probably should have extracted your dude rather than fight through some taunt. I think moving your Man, tricky. Just gonna play you. Ugh.
Yeah, I was thinking to discard him to get the taunt out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep. That was very, very possibly a better play.
Does splash attack happen before or during a fight?
I
It's
think
dealt simultaneously, I believe. Is it,
I
or
think
is
it's
it
during the
before?
fight, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That sucks.
Oh, the Wheel of Fire. Yeah, Wheel of Fire is terrible. I was talking on the car ride home about this. I've learned that you almost don't want to put it on a creature that wants to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like timing chart for combat, but I could have sworn it's at the same time during the
So
fight. Yeah.
It has to be because the point was, can I fight and get Lael, Earl of Hurl dead, and I couldn't. So
Yeah. If the assault kills the creature that you're fighting, the splash does not happen,
okay.
which is insane that this is a card that usually does nothing. Yeah, I
So,
I like to put Wheel of Fire on a creature just to give it hazardous, basically.
Hazardous was something that got me so many times throughout the weekend because I kept forgetting that Special Agent Tenga has it.
Mm-hmm.
This is looking grim, quick draw.
It's not good. Not good. Um, yeah, and you lost your Earl of Hurl as well.
Yep. Sag Earl. Getting ripper jacked.
Let's just see if we can get a key, which is doubtful, I think, at this point. Go Brobnar.
Oh, we got our other outpost. That's cool. Love outposts.
Finally.
All right, we're gonna trade.
Does this deck have all the Bracken?
No.
You with an Odoac.
No.
Just two. Just think, JT, this is the heaviest board that I opened.
Yeah. I don't know. Brutal. That'll be that turn.
Still not quite to check.
Not quite.
Exalt
Salting my dudes.
Let's Bellatorin. Let's kill that guy. Let's play another doggy.
We're not making that key here, quick draw.
No, we are certainly not. I think I made the right decision to not play this against you.
Let's add insult to injury.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, it's the first time you've had a 6-0 hand, so let's go Sanctum.
Yeah. That's only on play too. Dang.
The house pips are so big to this deck's game plan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Every turn getting to be at least 3 cards is so nice.
it changes Keyforge entirely.
Steal that one. Yep. I like it.
This is the. No, you had a turn earlier where you had 7 amber, I think. I thought we were going to forge a key foolishly.
And that's that. That's
a GG.
Good game.
Oofa doofa. Good game.
Yeah, it's just so rough to play against the big warded board in CC Sealed.
So here's another question I was thinking about for you, Quick Draw. We had joked at the beginning of the finals, making it an adaptive best of 3.
Yeah.
How many chains would you have bid in game 3?
Well, I changed decks, so
Sure.
I don't know which deck I would have played if we had played adaptive. Not a ton.
Okay.
Probably like 5.
Okay.
Maybe even less, because like 5 chains might be enough to limit your ability to make a board first, depending on which deck it was, and that might be enough to kind of, to fall behind. But the 2 decks that I played against you were both 13 creatures, so they weren't going to really make a big board anyway. But they could rush at least, and they did have unnatural selection to take out some creatures to get some captured amber back. So I mean, tough to say. I think our games were kind of close. They were definitely closer than this one. So I don't think it would have taken a ton of chains.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that sounds about right. Neither deck was really relying that heavy on draw. So any amount of chains kind of really changes that early game plan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would have been nice to play adaptive for my sake, but
Dead Sync, NEKO 2 or NEKO 3, Electric Boogaloo, adaptive finals.
Well, JT and I have been talking for years about doing a community event with adaptive, so
could be fun.
Maybe it'll happen.
Could be fun. So I mean, we've got NEKO 2 years. Don't want to put words in Dead Sync's mouth or the organizer's mouth, but maybe there'll be a third. That would be pretty cool. Has it been announced one way or another whether that's intended? I mean, it's a ways off, so we'll see. But we've got NEKO. You've got the Midwest Keyforge Charity Open. There's at least 2 like pretty big recurring community events. Getting a third in there could start to tie them together into some sort of series. Would be cool. Yeah.
There was someone at NEKO going around talking about a potential third they were planning, asking for some opinion. So more might be in the works, it looks like.
Cool. I hope so.
Hey, it could be cool. Could be cool. I dig it.
Well, it is late over here. Barry, thanks again. GG here. It's been good to chat with you again. Just glad we could have you on.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely.
Hope to do it again someday.
I hope so too.
Right on. All right, folks, we'll sign off on the stream. Thanks y'all for hanging out. Good times. And yeah, thanks again, Barry. And congrats to you guys again. Great event and good times. All right. Later, stream peeps.
Thanks, everybody.
So long.